All right, peace and blessings, assalamu alaikum, shalom family. Thank you for taking the time out to join me today. And this morning we're going to talk about time, redeeming the time. Because that's something important that we got to begin to really to start to pay attention to and understand where we are with time and who and what are we giving our time to, for what purpose. Apostle Jeanette Gilbert taught Sunday on redeeming time. That was a very good lecture that she gave. And I hope more people tune into it, because she laid a foundation that you can build on, that's easy to understand and very relevant with where we are today. See, most times people give you communication or give you words that have no relevance in today. They want to bury you in yesterday and not give you a way to see today. When we understand redeeming time, it means that you're taking your time back. You're taking your time back. Who has our time? Who is controlling our time? And if it is not us who's controlling our time, if it is not our God who's controlling our time, we need to find out exactly who is controlling our time. Understand this. Time is the currency that our God gives us. He gives you talents that you're naturally born with, but you have to develop your talents, your skills, and your gifts. And if you don't develop them for the benefit of yourself, your family, and your people, and for His glory, then what are they good for? They're good for nothing. They're good for nothing. Literally, good for nothing. Literally, good for nothing. I watched the Back to Africa channel. Sister sent me the video, 2 or 3 videos that he did on his perspective on the Woman King. And I watched them with due diligence. And I disagreed with his framing of the argument. I disagreed practically with almost everything that he said. One of the real or main disagreements is throw away slavery. Let them have that. Meaning, because he's saying the movie portrayed Africans being involved in the slave trade. So he says, well, give white folks that. Let them off the hook. Because Africans had some involvement. No, we don't do that. we're not letting them off the hook. When he talked about Africa's, the different countries' involvement in the slave trade, he wants to minimize it as if it didn't happen, as if it's something that's imagined. And you can't do that. Not when you're dealing with justice. See, when we're dealing with justice, all who played a part must be accountable for the evil that they have done. It is correct that Africa played a part in our enslavement. They played a major part. So they don't get a free pass, and neither does the enemy get a free pass. Ain't no such thing. When you talking about the destruction of a people, that you took a people, a once proud, independent people, and turned them into niggas. There's no such thing of letting them off, letting it go. To cover what? To cover the crimes that African nations committed on us, on our ancestors? We're going to let the main devil off to shield other little devils? No. They got to be held accountable for the crimes that they have committed. Otherwise, that would not be justice. So, our Back to Africa brother, you know, his little tagline, "This is your man, not your boy." And I wrote a comment on there. Well, let's have this conversation. Because your overall premise, I definitely disagree with. If we're going to have justice, then we must have justice. There's no such thing as we can have half of justice, a part of justice. We want the wound to be healed, not partly. Not partly. So no criminality gets excused in the destruction of our people. No criminality gets excused. And that's something that he needs to understand. And if we have that conversation, I'll make sure that he does understand. See, because when you, what is their agenda? Now, he talked about the movie is pitting, it gives this idea of the black woman don't need a black man. I ain't get that out of the movie. A sister was on his panel. She ain't get that out of the movie. You had other brothers on the panel. They made it clear that the black woman don't need the black man. I get that. I get that. They made it perfectly clear. The movie didn't make none of that perfectly clear because it didn't say it. Now, but why is that something that they interjected? Because deep inside, it's actually seeing what they saw, the level that they exist on. And that's exactly what they came with. That's the level that they exist on. They're caught in this gender war bullshit and can't see the forest for the trees. Because that's bullshit. And what we got to do is not get locked in and tied up with foolishness that takes us away from our goal, our objective, our agenda. And you're sitting around having conversations about nothing. How is one film going to excuse, take away your knowledge that this cracker was involved in the main reasons for the slave trade? How is one movie going to take that out of your memories? How is that going to happen? How is one movie, one part of a movie, going to make your mind so weak now that you can't hold white folk accountable for what they have done to you? One movie is that strong that it's going to change what the narrative is. One movie? After all these other movies have been produced and taught the role of slavery in our lives and white demon lives. You can't see the forest for the trees. That wasn't their objective. Their objective was to bring Africa out of the dark, out of the shade, out of the cover, pull the cover off and say, hey, look, these people had a part in your enslavement. You don't try to hold them accountable. I bet you didn't know that. That was their objective. But when you're allowing them to dictate your time, then they will feed you the garbage and the foolishness and have you all over the place because they're in charge of your time. It wasn't no secret of their involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. Ain't no secret. But the Back to Africa brother tried to hide it to make it look glorious. Now he mentioned, well, when Africans took Africans as slaves, you know, they would make you part of the family. You know, you do your time, which is true. He spoke the truth. They did do that in their form of enslaving their captives. But it wasn't forever. They didn't treat us like the cracker treated us. They didn't do that. And he's correct. Now, I don't think, I'm gonna say, I'm pretty secure in saying I know that no African involved thought that that demon would do to us what they did. I'm quite sure they never had a inkling of what would be done to us. I feel very confident to saying that they didn't have a clue of the brutality, of the horror that we would be put through. They didn't have an understanding of that. They didn't get an understanding of it until the cracker did it to them. Then they had a glimpse of it. They had an inkling of it. But what was done to us? Total wipeout. Total erasure. Totally. You know, they talk about, oh, you a hate teacher. You teach hate. Let me tell you something. The cracker is the biggest hate teacher in this world. He's the biggest hate teacher. He teach hate so thoroughly, so masterfully, that you hate yourself. You hate your black self, walking around here with blonde hair in your head, and you black as midnight. That cracker did a good job on you, teaching you how to hate yourself. But they want to charge us with hate, teaching hate. I teach love. How to love yourself. How to love your God. How to get out of the condition that we're in. That cracker is the real hate teacher. He taught you so concurrently throughout each stage of your existence. Hatred of your black self. Loving of the enemies of God. Loving your enemies. That's what they taught you. You got to take back your time. Because they're not making good use of you or your time. These demons love to destroy you. Love to wear you down. And be able to say, see, look at that shifty, no good, lazy nigga. So you got to stay on them. Because if you don't stay on them, they so lazy. Really? Really? You got to redeem your time. You got to take back your time. We don't have time to be caught dancing with the devil, nor the devil imps. See, the biggest problem amongst our people is we lack knowledge. We lack the knowledge of self and the enemy. We lack the knowledge of the time and what must be done. This is an actual fact. This is the only way that our people can stay ignorant. Is because of the lack of knowledge. And then once you know, then the next question is, do you have the courage to have the appropriate actions to take based on the knowledge that you have? Do you have the courage to come out of her, my people? See, our God is not calling for everybody to come out. Only my people. Come out of her. Come out of her name. Come out of her ways. Come out of her culture. And be not partakers of her sins. Come out. Come out. But see, you get so comfortable that you don't want to come out, that you want to stay. You want to have a good time. You want to pop your fingers. You want to be moving and grooving. You like your dance with the devil. How long are you going to allow them to abuse your children? Huh? Because every day you send your child to that damnable school, you are abusing your children. How many of you are giving them a knowledge of self to deprogram them from whence they come from getting a needle stuck in their brain? How many of you are doing that to keep your children alive. When we understand, because the brother said that they're using this to stop us in America from getting reparations by showing Africans' involvement. That's not going to stop you from getting reparations. See, only a person who is not mentally strong, mentally aware, mentally convicted that the debt is owed and it will be paid will think on those lines. That's why he say, just forget it. Don't try to get reparations for slavery. Do it after slavery. Get reparations for Jim Crow and redlining and all of these things, but not for slavery. Leave that alone. Let them have that. See, the moment he said, let them have that, your bells should have been going off. Ding, 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 ding. Red alert, ding, 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 ding. But if your bells, your alarm wasn't going off telling you somebody's trying to steal, somebody is adding an improper thing, improper thought to the conversation, your bell should have been going off. And say, oh, brother, stop right there. Stop right there. Because you off the track. You off the track, buddy. We not letting that go. That's the heart of the crime. That's the heart of the reason why we're in this condition. And you want to just let it go. See, everybody is not capable, don't have the acumen, the understanding to speak on our behalf. They don't have it. And when it comes to reparations, when it comes to paying the debt, our brother back to Africa don't have it. His reality, it ain't the same reality. Now, he moved back to Africa from America. That's his choice. That's his decision. But you don't get to direct the flow of where the action should be. You don't get to do that. You done forfeited that right. You done forfeited that right. And so we got to be able to understand that when Satan or Peter was talking to Jesus and he was saying something that Jesus knew wasn't right. He said, get thee behind me, Satan. Because what Peter was saying out of his mouth was satanic, was evil. And what the brother was saying out of his mouth was evil. We don't say we're going to let them off the hook for slavery. We don't do that. But he want to protect his African brothers and sisters that have done us wrong. And so he's showing this video of Don Lemon and this white woman, and she's talking about Africa's involvement in slavery, and Don Lemon didn't offer no rebuttal. Now, I have to search out the clip because what he showed me, I don't know, was it the full interview or just a section? So I don't know. But I would hope that Don Lemon was smart enough to rebut the bullshit from the devil. I would hope that that's what he did, but I don't know. I don't know. I have to look at it once I find the clip and see. But we got to redeem our time. What is it you giving your time to? So many of our people gave up their time to the Back to Africa brother and his foolishness and his folly of his thinking, when you could have been using that time more productively. You give your time away to the cracker. You give your time away to these dumb pursuits that don't profit us anything. And we have to begin to take back our time. Analyze, what am I doing with all my time? How much time are you giving to the enemy at your own demise? And how much time are you giving to yourself, your people, your God? What are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding yourself? We got to begin the process of thinking about these things. What am I feeding myself? Because whatever it is you're eating, that's what you become. So if you're eating filth, flooring filth, you become filth, flooring filth. If you're eating proper black first, you're going to be proper black first. What are you eating? Where are you giving your time? You got to wake up. You got to wake up from your slumber. It's time for you to wake up. You've been asleep too long. You got to get up because we got work to do. Our people need the proper message. And it's incumbent upon us to deliver it. To deliver it. And regardless to who don't like it. Because it is the truth. And we ain't playing around with it. We ain't mumbling with it. We cry aloud and we spare not. You want to be free? You want to be independent? Are you strong enough to carry that freedom message? Are you strong enough to carry that independent message? Are you strong enough to withstand, to come out of the pull of this enemy's world? Are you strong enough? Your will has to feed your desire. I was talking to my oldest son last night about some things that he wanted to do personally in life. Well, I said, son, the first thing you got to do is you got to play your own game. You got to make your own rules. Because if you play the game by that man, he makes the rules. And he'll change it whenever he wants to change the rules. You can't play by those sets of rules. You got to make your own rules. And be dedicated to follow them. Even when it looks impossible. You got to be able to stand strong and follow it. Even when people tell you can't do that. Oh, man, stick to your guns. There was a line in Michael Jackson, one of his songs, and I really love it. And he talks about, he says something to the effect of, you know me, I don't play around. I handle my business. I perfect my craft. You gotta perfect your craft. You gotta work on it. But it starts with believing it, knowing it here. Putting the plan together to bring it forth and execute. Regardless to whom or what. Regardless to whom or what. Don't change. Unless you see a flaw in your plan. But you know how many people have come to me and say, oh, Muhammad, you can't do this because A, B, C, D, or E. The biggest one is because the white man ain't gonna let you. Say what? He ain't gonna let you. Who goes to him and asks him permission? Not me. Because he ain't my master. Master, can I go do this, master? Master, can I have this, master? Master, can I go do... I ain't a slave. The cracker don't have no authority over me. Why would you give him authority over you? You better make sure people keep their responsibility to you. And there's so many people who have failed in their responsibility to us. They failed, they know they failed, and they don't even give a damn that they failed. Election time is on us. They're telling you go out to vote. Vote for who? And vote for what? Because, excuse me, family, I'm getting the hiccups. These same people that tell you to go out and vote, and these lying ass politicians that come before you to say vote for me, they want to stay with the history of just lying to you and getting your vote. Where you got to know and understand, if your candidate has not been endorsed by Black First, that's not a candidate that you should vote for. If we have not certified that candidate is a Black First candidate, he does not deserve your vote. And if you don't understand in 2022 that you should never be voting for a white man to be your ruler, don't do it. We're advocating, hell, when you want to go vote so you don't waste your vote, write your own damn name on the line. If you're scared to write your own damn name, write my name on the line. Write our name on the line. We got to redeem our time. Stop spending time foolishly. Stop spending our time in stupid engagements that profit us nothing. We got to stop doing that. We got to come out of that dumb way of thinking, that foolish way of acting. We must accept our own and be ourselves. We could not be running around here doing stuff that don't work, saying stuff that has no relevance. We can't be found teaching our people untruths. keeping our people mentally still locked down in slavery. You should understand that every advancement that America has made, you were at the root of it. You were at the heart of it. You were at the cause of it. You. That's why when they get in trouble, they look for you. The world knows this. You want to protest? Go find you some niggas. Bring them in and let them go protest for us. Why? Because you have a heart like unto God's heart. And you care so much because you've been wrong. And you don't want nobody else to be wrong. So you run and go protest when they don't do the same for you. They don't love you. But they will use you to their benefit and your own degradation. Because it's profitable to use black folks. It's profitable to use us. Very profitable. That's why they continue to do it. That's why they continue to do it. And you got to understand that all that crap has to be done away with. All of that crap has to be over. And we are the ones to say it's over. It's over and done with. We're not going to give you life any longer. Now, when you understand, I hope you all saw this video, Sister Kai sent it to me, about this brother who was in jail. And he went in jail looking healthy. And they took a picture of him, and he's all skinny, malnourished. I mean, what did you do to him? What did they do to him? See, they do these things to us because they think that we don't have nobody that cares about us. What did you do? Why did you do it? It's just like that brother that I showed y'all a few years ago in one of my teachings I was doing, that they burned this brother to death using scalding hot water in jail in America. In jail in America. How do you starve this man? How do you do what you did to our brother, where he goes in jail, he looks fit, good, strong, healthy. A few months later, you see the picture of him all frail, skinny, unhealthy. What did you do to this man? In the matter of months, to destroy him, to kill him. What did you do? See, you got to remember this, because this is who they are. This is what they do. No such thing as giving a pass. No such thing. Their system is built on our destruction. There's no such of giving passes. And you watch the destruction every day. But because you give your time to foolishness, because you give your time to bullshit, this allows them to continue. And they pick you off one by one, group by group, section by section, city by city. You got to redeem the time. They do this because you allow it. What do you mean, Brother Muhammad? They do it because we allow it. What is your response? See, you got to begin to speak the language they understand. You got to. You got to. That's why we teach. When we whoop enough ass, everybody gonna get in line and do right. Why is that? Because nobody, you was a child, you remember, nobody want an ass whooping. But that ass whooping put on you properly is gonna teach you some what? Do right. It's gonna teach you, I better leave that alone. That fire too hot. See, we have never taught them. I'm not gonna say never, because we have. But we're not consistent with teaching them do right. When we whoop enough ass, everybody gonna get in line and do right, because the price is too steep. There's no profit in it. They love profitability. But when we remove the profitability, they say what? Oh, it ain't worth it. That's a losing venture. And they got to understand, to mistreat black people is a losing venture. Because we will whoop your ass. That's the message they understand. Because they're animals. Animals don't understand morality. They understand pain and pleasure. Stop giving them the pleasure and inflict the pain. As Martin Luther King said, God told me to come and see you and tell you, because he said you ain't treating his children right. You ain't treating his children right. And today is a day that we will whoop your ass. You kill the nigga in you, I'm gonna kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black First, today, tomorrow, and forever. Love you, family. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Redeem the time.